All right, I'm making the video on how to do the evaporator sensor. It's 2015 F150, aluminum body. I didn't see anywhere online how you can change the sensor without moving the evaporator. As we know, it's a 10-hour plus job. So I was able to do it without removing the dash, and this is how. You're gonna need a scope. This one's just a cheap one I got on Amazon, but it's mandatory. You're gonna need the scope. I built this tool out of a Slim Jim and obviously hooked a razor blade to it. The bottom line is it's gonna have to get into a tight space and cut a wire. So if you come up with a better idea, go for it, but this is what I came up with, what I had laying around the shop. A couple butt connectors, some male and female connectors, of course, ways to splice the wire. These are jumper wires that go with that. We'll need some loom because the new wire is gonna go kind of over the heater core line, so wanna protect it. Need a trim tool with some length to it to pull a clip out. I used this to cut the HVAC bots because I did not want the drill to catch and run the bit in through my evaporator, because that would have kind of blew the whole thing. This is the part number you're going to need from Ford. This does not fit this model truck. It's for, I believe, the earlier model F150s, but we're going to modify it. It's going to work for us. Okay, so once inside the truck, you need to remove this panel off the bottom. It kind of sits like that underneath the dash. There's just the two kind of push pins here that you pull down on, and get that out of the way. Then this trim piece will come off from the top. This is the same process you'll use if you're changing your cabin filter. Then this piece comes out, and I managed to chip the bottom of it. Try not to do that. Try to be nice to it, but it happens. And then once you do that, you need 2 bolts to remove this piece out of the way. Once you get to this, again, this is the same process you would do if you're changing your cabin filter. This allows you access to the area you're going to need to pull the connector off of. So I'm going to use my trim tool right here underneath the heater core lines. Now, the connector for the sensor wires is gone because I've already made the switch into the new wiring, but this area is where it would be. So all you're gonna do is take your trim tool and pop it out off of its holder where it's held onto the bots there. And once you do that, you're ready to run your bore scope from the top and the tool that you have to cut the wire up from the bottom. So I have the bore scope in from the top side, and I'm looking down the back of the bots, and you can see the wire where the sensor wire comes out of the back of the bots. This is where you're going to have an extra set of hands to hold the scope while you take your other tool, reach from the bottom side, and hook on the wire and cut it. So it's a little tricky and it's a little tough, but it can be done. So once you're, again, scope from the top side, run your tool up from the back side. I'm gonna try and demonstrate that quickly. And then once you cut the wire, we'll move on. I'll have to be able to see it in order to see what. So you can see that I have the Slim Jim up next to it. Now this obviously isn't the side that has a razor blade on it, but you want to have your razor blade in a way where it's hanging out the side with some pressure, and as you pull down, it's going to cut the wire. So that's the long and short. You can see a few nits in the wire where I didn't get it the first few tries. So once the wire's cut, at that point, you'll be able to pull the wire over the top and make a butt connection. Now I've already put loom on the wire and installed the jumper wires, but the connection is somewhere in this area. You'll be able to reach it anyway and make the connection there. Now, what I did underneath is, and I haven't buttoned this up yet, you can see the markings in the box where the evaporator is. And again, this is why I didn't want to drill. I used the other tool to, and I made 2 different cuts because I wasn't sure exactly how much room I would need. But once these cuts are made, you're going to be able to see the evaporator. And you can see where I installed the switch. Now, the plastic piece did not push into these fins. It was a little too wide, so I actually took it and put it on the bench grinder and just ground the plastic down a little bit, enough for it to slide in. So what I'm going to do now is just relieve this corner a little bit so the wire can go through easy, and button this up with some adhesive, and then just get the wire up out of the way. Once this is hooked up, we've tested it, and we're getting good readings, and we didn't have to pull the entire interior out of this truck to install it. So all told, if you can have your tool set up to cut the wire, that is obviously the hard part, you can do this job in 1 hour or less. And it's not a job that will have to be redone until that sensor fails, you know, 10 years from now. So hope this helps, guys.